Well, hi everyone, Will Starbursts here, and welcome back to my League of Legends tutorial series, Learn to Play League of Legends. Today, we're going to discuss the benefits of team-oriented vision control along with how, when, and where to maintain vision control throughout each stage of the game. In essence, controlling the vision of certain areas of the map enables the team to make more informed decisions. When you boil it down, there are really only two elements in League of Legends, situational awareness and decision-making. And the more aware you are of what's going on around you, the better you'll be able to react to it. Quite literally, knowing is half the battle, and solid vision control wins this half. In this example, vision control of the dragon area for the red team is not too strong, so they can't gather much information from their surroundings. This eventually leads to a misplay where Graves identifies that Lucian is out of position. He makes a grave mistake and dashes forward, preparing to assassinate his squishy counterpart. But, all of a sudden, the super strong Aurelia walks around the corner and out of the fog of war. If you've ever played AD Carry, you probably know the rest of the story. Mistakes such as these take place at all levels of play. How could have Graves even known about the Aurelia? He was trying to make a play which very well could have worked if the Aurelia didn't show up. Unfortunately, he took a shot in the dark. But on the bright side, unintentional misplays such as these can be avoided through strong vision control. The most common question regarding vision control is usually, when should I ward, or where should I ward? The answer is always changing, because there are a few variables and principles that you should take into account as you go about your warding adventure. Firstly, consider where action is likely to happen on the map. Ultimately, the game is objective-focused, so action will tend to revolve around rotations for towers, neutral objectives, and common gank paths. In the case of neutral objectives, such as Dragon, Baron, and buffs, it's pretty easy to know when action will begin to arise around their respective areas. All you need to do is keep track of the timers on each spawn and ideally gain vision control no less than a minute before the objective is due to spawn. However, vision control around common gank paths and towers depend on what the lane pressure is like. But let's first talk about gank paths, as those are mostly important early on in the game. Viable gank paths and contestable objectives will all depend on how pressured the lanes around any given quadrant are. Pressure in your lane translates into greater control over the map. The pushed out laners can leave while the opponent is stuck farming under the tower. If you're under the tower, you can only really leave if your lane opponent chooses to do so as well, and at that point you can only react to the plays that they make because they will arrive at the fight first. Because wards themselves are also a contestable objective, your vision control should account for the map control given by lane pressure in the early game. If everything is pretty neutral in the early game, then common gank paths in the river is where vision should be controlled. Sometimes this vision extends a little bit into the opponent's jungle, but it should still be contestable. For example, upon his first back on red side, Lustboy usually wards these two spots on his way back to lane if the lane is in a neutral position or shoving away from his tower. These wards tell him whenever the opposing jungler is leaving his red side jungle, and give the bottom lane ample time to adjust their play according to the jungler's aggression. If allied lanes are being shoved inwards, then gain vision control over your own jungle in an attempt to defend against plays which are made therein. If you find your lanes are pushing outwards towards the opponent, then try and find opportunities to gain vision control over one quadrant of the enemy jungle. Gaining information of the activity in an entire quadrant lets the whole team know where the jungler is and isn't. If the top laner does not spot the jungler on his own blue side, then by process of elimination, the jungler is on his own red side. In this clip, as the lanes are pressured, Braum finds an opportunity to gain vision of the enemy blue side jungle after he assists in killing the opposing bottom lane. A few minutes later, top lane is pushing in, which makes for an easy gank if Lee Sin is nearby. Because Lee has not been spotted in its blue side jungle, he's probably top side preparing for a gank. Jarvan tries to warn Rek'Sai of the danger and heads top for a counter gank as soon as he finishes his blue. Thanks to the warning of danger and a timely counter gank, what could have been a loss for the blue team ends up being a huge win. Additionally, aggressive wards such as these can be used to make picks on the enemy team. If Dragon or Baron is supposed to spawn soon, an unlucky support will often run through their jungle trying to gain vision control. If you can see them coming, it's very easy to set up a play and gain an advantage off that kill. Finally, establishing strong vision control means that your green wards are defending your pink wards. Pink wards should only be placed where control is pretty secure or easy to defend. Green wards should cover the paths which lead to pink wards, so that the team can have a heads up before the pink ward is actually attacked. In most situations, 2 pinks and 3 to 5 green wards should suffice for very good vision control over any quadrant of the map or dragon or baron. In this example, Lee Sin is spotted heading towards the blue team's pink ward. Orianna and Thresh follow up to aid in its destruction, but Corki and Aurelia are spotted in their respective side lanes. 4 blue players begin to respond to the pink once they realize Lee is approaching. Although the pink is destroyed, it comes as a huge loss to the red team as Jarvan chooses to engage on all 3 red players. With those 2 kills, opportunities for tower and buff pressure are secured and further advantages can be gained. To further illustrate how greens defend pinks, let's look at a few good examples of vision control over Dragon and Baron. In this example, Braum and his team set up a perimeter of vision around 30 seconds before Dragon spawns. If you're unfortunately left as the only person who puts pink wards down, and you only have 1 pink ward to place, then put it near the pit and sweep the dot bush. Again, notice how the pink ward is protected by the greens. Additionally, the pink ward along with the sweep of the dot bush ensure that vision of the objective is denied for the opponent. As a result, when Dragon spawns, the red team is scared to even enter the area because they have no idea what's going on in the river. Similar control can be asserted over Baron. Although the vision control in this example isn't as strong, Braum is still able to see Lee Sin coming for a smite steal. Because of this, Braum uses his Q and passive to slow and stun Lee Sin so that there's no chance of a steal. In the very late game, the only objectives that really need vision are Dragon and Baron. Tower pressure can be identified by where the minion waves are pushing, but most action is centered around lanes, Dragon, or Baron. Although mid-game is where the benefits of vision control truly shine. Proper vision can snowball a lead or even aid in the comeback from a deficit. Just remember the next time you ward, consider lane pressure, objective timers, and ensure your greens defend your pinks. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Also, if all goes according to plan, I should be streaming on twitch.tv/whilestarbursts within an hour of when this video is posted. The times for this afternoon, along with the link to my Twitch channel, are in the description.